staging it and blaming a group they wanted to go after. At this point, the media wants to push it to make the police capitulate and local governments capitulate to a globalist takeover. But we will find out tomorrow. I appreciate your call. Let's go ahead and talk to Michael in California. You're on the air.
Hey, Alex, pleasure to talk to you after about 12 to 13 years. So, man, this thing that happened in Dallas has me a little bit perplexed, and some of the other things that surround it. But one of the things I want to get to right off the get-go, you've talked about a Trump possible assassination. I think the bigger target's actually Hillary. They've got so many skeletons in the closet that you can hear the bones crack every time the door gets closed. But getting on to Dallas, I am very curious to find out what was written on the wall, if anything was written on the wall, because if something like All Lives Matter was written on the wall, that's going to turn everything upside down, and that would tell you why the cops are so perplexed on what he actually wrote.
You know, that's a great point. Why aren't we being told what he wrote on the wall? I should be asking that all day to the listeners. That is a really good question. What do you think? I mean, why aren't they releasing it? Maybe it might be some girlfriend's name, and they just don't want to. They just don't want to destroy. I mean, I'm hypothetically thinking they don't want to destroy her life by putting that name out.
Well, I don't think that's it. I don't think that's it at all. This almost reminds me. This was before that you were in your teenage years, but I was old enough to remember this, Alex. But in California, when we had the Stockton school shooting, they found all kinds of stuff in the shooter's room that he was staying in. Army men, all this other crazy stuff that doesn't go reported at this point. If you go and look at old articles on what happened in the Stockton shooting in California, which really started what we have now today as far as the new California gun laws. That started at the beginning of that shooting back in Stockton. But they found all kinds of crazy stuff in the room that he was staying in. Now you have this Dallas shooter. You find all kinds of evidence as far as what he was up to. Nobody really knows what's going on here, but the guy was military. He was well-trained. I don't think he was racist. I think it's hard for me to believe that anybody that has been in U.S. military service is a racist. It's very hard for me to believe that, especially after they've been in a combat zone. So I'm really curious of what he actually wrote on that wall, if he wrote anything at all.
It's a great question. We will look into it. And I'm not saying I think it had a girlfriend's name on the wall. I'm just saying hypothetically, I don't know why they would block that. It could be something political. Who knows? But we'll find out. All right, Raptor Man, Emmett Blake, Evan, and many others, your calls are straight ahead on the other side of this break. The sale ends today, by the way, up to 40% off on storable food and a bunch of other preparedness items that funds the broadcast at InfoWarsStore.com. A lot of really interesting angles being brought up by folks about what really happened with the shooting. Here's my issue. We know that this kill the cops narrative is run out of the White House and the globalist media. We know it's being done to make local government capitulate to a multinational system. We know political correctness is about destroying free speech and taking over. And it's going into high gear now, admitting it's totalitarian. So that's why people adding theories to what happened here as if it's its own thing. We already know it's part of the larger false flag narrative of stirring up angry, disenfranchised youths who've been taught they're victims, they've been taught they're losers, they've been taught they have no future, they've been taught the only way to man up is to go out and attack the police. Then the cops freak out and act like goons, back in some cases, and it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. And sure, cops did bad stuff before as well. It's just an ongoing, living the past, Groundhog Day victimology. The globalists want you to live in victimology, not live in the future. Not live in building your own world. And when you have a good attitude and when you're successful, people resonate with that. You're still going to run into jerks. I've run into jerk police and been arrested for no reason, all sorts of stuff. There's big problems. But in this time and season, the globalists are orchestrating this to bring in a major civil unrest / civil war program. We're taking your calls right now. Raptor Man from New York, thank you for holding. Good to have you on with us today.
How you doing, Alex?
Good, brother.
Love your organization's work, man. Hey, there's a Davos report that I did an article on called Security Outlook to 2030, 3 Alternative Scenarios. And I'll tell you what, they go from bad to worse. Someone reads this article, reads the report, The scenarios are entitled Walled Cities, Strong Regions, and War and Peace. And it goes into all kinds of details about what they believe the scenario is going to be like going into 2030. Goes from bad to worse, Alex.
Now, which particular government report is that?
It's a Davos report. It's called Security Outlook to 2030, 3 Alternative Scenarios. I wrote an article on it on my website.
Sure, I remember that. That was was that this year or last year?
It was last year, yeah, when they had a big Davos meeting.
Sure, I remember that, and it's basically a carbon copy of the 2007 and 2006 Pentagon and British Ministry of Defense reports that talk about there will be a global meltdown, there will be a global shutdown starting in 2016 and going into 2030 with walled cities, ultra-rich, with robots defending them, everything else collapsed, and billions dying. And, of course, this is actually their war on humanity scenario, but they're going to pose as saviors while taking all the resources in and then using anthropology, sociology, psychology to play off against all the culture groups in divide and conquer. So this is a breakaway civilization and how it basically saves the earth from the human infestation. So this is the globalists seeing themselves as alien saviors.
Exactly. If you'll let me quote from the document, it says, the 3 scenarios may come across as somewhat dystopian because they are extrapolations of existing negative trends. So that's what they think is going to happen.
Absolutely. Read some more of the Loving Report.
Well, I mean, if you look at the artwork on it, you can go right to it there. The artwork is pretty amazing how they do each chapter. The artwork tells you all. But let me define the international security for you as in the document. International security refers to the measures taken by state or non-state actors, individually or collectively, to ensure their survival and integrity against transboundary threats. That's the beginning of the article.
And so this is 2 years ago, but then Europe advertises, we have open borders, come here, everything's free, rape whoever you want, and then arrest anyone that criticizes it. That's back in the news. So again, they're acting in these reports about these horrible things that are coming while they make sure they happen. Isn't that just special?
Yeah, they never say how they're going to happen, but they just say they're going to happen.
Well, I'm glad you wrote an article about it. I think we wrote one as well. What's the name of your website?
Raptor Man Reports. I actually took your advice and took a man, Noam de Plume, put some articles out.
Well, good.
You,
send us a link. Did we link to your story?
No, you didn't.
Okay, what was the name of your report?
You can link to my story. Oh, yeah, definitely. It's called Security Outlook to 2030, 3 Alternative Scenarios. And it's on RaptorManReports.com.
Yeah, we found it. And guys, scroll down if we can. Let's actually click on the Davos report itself. Wow, look at the artwork. It's like drone, all-seeing eye robots with a swastika in the compact breakaway civilization with satellites ruling everyone with another all-seeing eye panopticon. And then they've got a technocracy overgrid satellite layout. Wow, man, I tell you, that is unbelievable. Wow. Thank you, Raptor Man, for letting us know about that. Oh, yeah. I'll be honest with you. I guess I am a weirdo. Because I think about humanity in the hands of these mad scientists. And I think about how they have all these Davos reports. They admit they're getting rid of cash to control us. They admit they hate us. They admit they're going to break us down where we're isolated individuals with no family, no community, so they can just euthanize us while they all play God. They're a bunch of wicked, twisted, ugly people. And I just sit there and watch them manipulate the dumbed-down masses of people that have no idea what's even happening to them. It makes me sick. I saw that report 2 years ago when it came out, saw the freaky artwork, and I think I read it in a paragraph in one of Watson's articles. I don't even did a story on it. And it's just this total admission of walled cities, total control, world government, surveillance everywhere. It's literally the intro to Endgame. The first 3 minutes of Endgame is the first warning about what their admitted plan is and what they're going to do from their own quotes. And they put them in white papers after white papers after white papers with a counterclockwise swastika with hovering, all-seeing eye drones watching the humans. But what it really means is walled cities. And, of course, that's the name of that paper. The walled cities are where the elites live in their compact cities, mainly in rural areas. New cities they're building. And then you go to the next image it has from the Economic World Forum that's committed to improving the state of the world. We have their own internal documents. It's for shredding the world. But if you go back to the first images we were looking at, strong regions means global government. You've got the North American Union, the Asian Union, the European Union. And you've got sub-unions. And then you've got, of course, war and peace. The image of a satellite, ICBMs coming in, tanks. The keyhole through which you see the world. And then you read it, and it's just a hell planet. With the people are slaves on their knees, giving their power to the all-seeing eye pyramid above them. Just the images. And to think that I have been so close to this so long that when they admit it all, I don't even cover it. I get so mad at myself every day when I get off the air of all the things I didn't cover. Thank God I took that caller. See, the problem is I don't take a lot of calls. I make people hold, that only folks that are basically half asleep stay on. And then you don't hear all these incredible callers like the guy that just called in. And thank God he took my advice a few years ago and started a Gnome to Plume, started his own website. By the way, this stuff's popular. You take news and information, write stories, you'll get traffic and can make a living off of it. And a lot of folks go, Alex, quit telling all your listeners to do that. There'll be all these new big sites, and you won't be the only one and get all the traffic. I would love to be made obsolete and defeat the globalists. You think I do this for money? They're putting hydrofluorosilicic acid in the water on record that lowers the IQ massively and gives you incredible health problems like cancer. We're being murdered. They write about it in textbooks. They are arrogant. Just like they admitted the euro's a tyranny and unelected. And finally, we force the issue, you force the issue collectively, and you see it starting to collapse. We will beat them. Their only hope is to steal the world's wealth, hoard it so we're poor, so that when everything collapses, they control us. And I'm not going to sit here and play games with these people anymore. Listen. Get outdoors, take your kids hiking and camping, turn off the television, be healthy, take vitamins and minerals, drink purified water, get right with God, start a garden, start going in with your neighbors and buying a cow and butchering it and saving money. Just get out of the system. That's all I can say. And believe me, none of us are perfect, but all of us can start doing little things like, I'm not going to take the kids and see a Hollywood movie. I'm not going to associate with the establishment. I'm not going to give them my money anymore. I don't need stuff from their system anymore. And look, none of us are perfect. But when you can, pull out of their system. Everything they're doing is about trying to keep you in their system. And I'll expand on this. The special inch today that I'm going back to your calls. We have 20 to 40% off the super high-quality storable foods, the foods I've chosen for my family. We can do it because we private label the great stuff at My Patriot as InfoWars Select. 20% off ends today on Survival Shield X2 Nascent Iodine. 10% off across the board on all the other nutraceuticals, and an additional 10% off when you sign up for auto ship, things like coffee or Secret 12 or Lung Cleanse or X2 or Brain Force, and free shipping on orders of $50 or more. So take advantage of this today, whether it's Super Male Vitality or Anthroplex or Living Defense or Brain Force or Vitamin Mineral Fusion's amazing. InfoWarsLife.com. We have the joint formula, the bone supplement formula that's blowing people away as well. Knockout's a great sleep aid, natural and really good for you overall. Such great restful sleep. I forgot to take it last night. InfoWarsLife.com or InfoWarsStore.com or call toll-free 888-253-3139. And that special ends tonight. So take advantage of that, and thank you all for your support. The Hillary for Prison shirts are regular price, $19.95. The new design, very handsome, great for men and women to fund this program we have, putting airplanes in the sky. And I'm not going to run this. I mean, I'm going to pay for the flights over D.C. Excuse me, that was a Freudian slip. We'd love to have it there, but they have the air blocked off for any flights over Philadelphia.